I love what you had to say in your presentation. Right?
Thank you very much.
And I think that all the things put together, I would love to have the whole straight world read and understand and discuss.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I thought what Patty and Sue said about, get this book, get an extra copy.
Yes.
Give it to your doctor. I mean, spread it out. And I mean, for the medical students that I work with, for the fellows that I work with, the residents, it's just absolutely crucial because they're the next generation.
Absolutely.
It's really, really important.
I'm a psychotherapist and I work with individuals, couples, and families.
Oh, wow.
I also train family therapists. And so what I want to do is I want to get all the people I'm training to be family therapists, couple and family therapists, to know about it. And I want to get other psychotherapists to know about it so that we can all introduce it to our clients as well.
Yeah.
So we can have a whole network.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks.
Dean of the School of Nursing, who I have to say is someone who grew up with the whole question authority bumper sticker. I mean, it was so deeply ingrained it was a bumper sticker. The idea that there would be people in positions of significance and power who would actually be supportive and visionary is still a learning curve for me. And one of the people who has taught me about that the most is the woman I'm going to introduce to you right now, who is the Dean of the School of Nursing, Kathleen Drinka, without whom LHRC, with all good intentions by many, many people, would not have been able to form.
I just want to thank you all for coming today, and I hope that you drink all of the champagne so that you don't have any leftovers. And to congratulate, of course, Patty and Sue. Sue? Yes, wherever you are there. Okay, great. Because this is such an extraordinary book. When they first brought the project to us and asked about our sponsorship, we said we just couldn't believe this book didn't exist. And so it is answering such an important need, and I know will be read by, we hope, millions. And so please pass it along to your friends, and we just really appreciate your support today. I, in turn, am going to introduce one of our doctoral graduates, Dr. Catherine Dodd, who is representing Mayor Gavin Newsom today.
Thank you, Dr. Drinka. I want Sue and Patty to come up here.
Yeah.
And I'd like to read it. Whereas clinicians who treat women have less... Whereas clinicians who treat women have lesbians among their clients, whether or not they know it. Lesbians experience unique clinical and legal issues in addition to the issues faced by heterosexual women in the healthcare system. And whereas the Institute of Medicine has declared that lesbians are an underserved minority, lesbians experience negative health outcomes because of the stigma associated with their sexual identity. And whereas stereotypes contribute to physical, financial, and/or attitudinal barriers in access to care for lesbians. And whereas emerging research findings underscore the important role played by all healthcare providers and health advocates in adapting evidence-based interventions that are inclusive and responsive to the needs and concerns of lesbians. And whereas in the last decade there has been an exponential rise in the amount of research about lesbians and their health, but no comprehensive guide to clinic-based care on that evidence. And whereas Dr. Suzanne L. Dibble and Dr. Patricia A. Robertson co-founded the University of California, San Francisco Lesbian Health Research Center and have co-edited the first published textbook that synthesizes the latest information from lesbian health researchers and clinicians about lesbian health. And whereas Dr. Dibble and Dr. Robertson have been dedicated to improving the health and wellness of lesbians, bisexual women, and transgendered individuals and their families. San Francisco celebrates lesbians and the contributions lesbians have made in healthcare. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Gavin Newsom, Mayor of the City and County of San Francisco, in recognition of today's historic release of Lesbian Health 101, a clinician's guide, the first textbook about lesbian health, do hereby proclaim February 8, 2010 as Lesbian Health Day in San Francisco. A dear friend, an amazing representative of not just our community, but of all San Francisco, Supervisor Benedetti.
I hope you know that Catherine is a department head, and so she now heads up San Francisco's health services system, which is a very, very important job. I'm really pleased that she's getting to run her own department within the city, and when she comes before the board, I'll make sure she's referred to as Dr. Dodd, because I think that helps you in these difficult budget times. I also want to say to Diane Sabin that you really haven't lived if you've not been, as I say, advised by Phyllis Lyon. I don't say scolded, but she's not trying to encourage you to work a little harder. You're not doing much in this town, so I want to acknowledge that and say, for me, it's a privilege to be here. I like to point out that I am almost married to a lesbian health practitioner. My co-parent, I have a 3-year-old girl with Rebecca Goldfader, who's a nurse practitioner in OBGYN. And so I come by it naturally. I know how important nurses and practitioners are. But I've had a long association with the Lesbian Health Research Center, and this is such a wonderful time for this book to be released because we've come out of some very difficult years, and for people in science and medicine and research to have to lie about what their subject matter is and to have to camouflage it in order to continue that work, I think is the worst thing. It is the most backward, dark ages that we possibly could have been in, and I'm so pleased for this meeting. So, very humbly, I do want to point out, I worked for Mayor Willie Brown, and I used to write these beautiful things. And the best thing is that when you get a proclamation, you can't get a parking ticket or get arrested. So, since this extends to all of you today, you can park anywhere, drink all the champagne that you've been defined by our director to drink, and you're covered, okay? Everybody's got my cell phone. But, to Patty and Sue, in recognition of editing the landmark text Lesbian Health 101, contributing years of clinical experience and research in order to provide the best possible care, the San Francisco Board of Supervisors extends our highest commendation. Thank you.
Well, first of all, we're so grateful that you came today to help us celebrate. And this project was a gleam in our eye 2 years ago. First, we thought we could do it in 6 months, but it took us 2 years. And it was a true evolution of collaborative work, from the authors to the nursing press to our co-editing. It's been quite a journey. And I just want to review for you that in 1999, the National Institute of Medicine published its report that lesbians are an underserved population by the healthcare system in the United States. But then we had a conservative government in 2000 for 8 years, and we could get no government funded or other research done. But our community responded to this report of needing desperately to know more about our community, to know what best health practices were. The Lesbian Health Fund, which was started by the Women in Medicine Conference, and now is housed in the Gay and Lesbian Medical Association, increased the number of pilot research projects in lesbian health. And we had lesbian researchers volunteer thousands of hours above their normal jobs to really make advances in lesbian health research. Today, the Center, LHRC, which was founded by Sue Dibble and Dixie Corning, became a real tool to help us really edge along this research. Sue and I, during those first years at LHRC, sponsored lesbian health conferences for researchers. Then we'd alternate for providers. We actually mentored mental health researchers nationally, internationally. We sponsored a summer internship program for young lesbian health members who were in the middle of their MPHs, and now some of them are doing their PhDs. One of them now has an NIH program in cardiovascular health.